Okay, so I'm going to try and pick up that story I was telling you about St. Thomas More and Twink, right where I had to stop. I'll get better at this hopefully and be able to splice things together better. So, like I said, it's raining like crazy, and I tell Twink, I got to go outside and smoke a cigarette, Twink, so they're inside. I go outside and I'm smoking, and it is raining. Those big ass raindrops that you get in Pittsburgh, and it is pouring. So I'm sitting out under the awning in the front of St. Thomas More smoking a cigarette, and I look up, and here comes this little kid with a hood on him and a couple sweatshirts, and he's soaking wet, and he comes walking down the steps, and he looks at me through the rain, through his hood, and he goes, "Are you the coach?" I go, a coach. I'm not the coach. The head coach is Dave DeLillo. He's inside the gym right now. What can I do for you, though, man? He goes, "Well, you probably heard of me. He's in the fourth grade." He goes, "I was in the Upper St. Clair Recreation League, and I led the league in rushing 2 years in a row." So he's in the fourth grade, and he's already got 2 rushing records, third grade and fourth grade, and I go, "Pat, to be honest with you, I haven't heard about you, but that don't mean nothing. But, we got a lot of running backs on this team. We got a kid named Mike Gorey who's really incredible, and Bobby Arrigo, we call him Speedo. He's pretty damn good, too. And Donnie Lund is okay, so we got, we're pretty full at running back, but I need some defensive backs on the team because I'm coaching the defense. We need to get a couple hitters out there and linebackers." And he goes, "Nah, I'm a running back." And he turns and walks away and walks home in the pouring rain. And I go, "Wow, dude," So I go in, I don't say nothing to Twink, or I might have mentioned that some kid came down and said he's Pat Dunn, and I should know who he is, and he's a running back, and that's it. He's not going to play. He left. So 2 or 3 days go by. Next thing you know, I'm out on the field, and we're down like a little valley, and I see this kid walking down the path that you take from Upper St. Clair to get to St. Thomas More, and it's him, and he's chewing about 25 pieces of bubble gum, and he goes, "Hey, aren't you the coach I talked to the other day?" I go, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "Well, you know what, I thought about it, and I'll play defense for you." I go, "Okay, man, that's great to hear. So we'll get you hooked up with some equipment and get you all signed up and everything." And lo and behold, Pat Dunn was one hell of a fucking football player. He was a rock star. He hit people hard, man, so he comes in, he just plays defense. He's playing middle linebacker. He's a skinny little toe-headed with the curly hair that's never combed, and his pants are always crooked, and his shirt's untucked, and just this guy's trouble, full of himself. Pat Dunn is something. I fall in love with him, and so he works me hard, he knows that I drive every day to practice, and then I got to go to home that way past his house. I live in Bethel, but he lives in Upper St. Clair, so he always gets a ride from me. And then I got to stop at the Little General and got to buy him bubble gum or an iced tea. He works me hard every day. I give him a free ride home, and then I got to spend money on him. So, but he's worth it. On Saturdays, that kid is playing. And so now we're going through the season, and every day on Monday, Pat comes limping up and goes, "Oh, man, my back hurts, and my leg hurts right here. And I remember that one hit over here, my shoulder really hurts, So I go, and he played so hard, you had to believe him, And so I go, okay, Pat, you just take it easy, man. Just hang out, make sure if we put anything new in that you're paying attention, And so that's Monday's practice. Tuesday, he's still hurt, and Wednesday, he's still hurt. And then so Thursday, we're not hitting, we're going over stuff. And then on Friday, we got a light walkthrough in game shirts, and we go through over all the special teams. So when practice starts, there's Patton, number 42, no pads on. He's backpedaling, doing their laps to warm up, and he's like, oh, coach, I am good to go. And I go, oh man, you got every week unprovable injuries that just heal up by Saturday or heal up by Friday, and he's ready to rock and roll on Saturday again. And of course, he rock and rolls it, he is leveling people. And everybody knows him, and he goes, Coach, I see that you got a neck roll. You think you could get me a neck roll, because I'm really hitting. So I get him one of my old neck rolls from college, and he's wearing that thing, and he is proud that he got my neck roll on. And he looks special. So we go down to play St. Bede's in Swissvale, Regent Square at Frick Park. And it's raining like cats and dogs, And so, these guys are still 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. So they really don't take up much space on a football field. So in the mud, if you run a sweep, which I wanted to do, you run that sweep and you just go straight to the sidelines and then turn it up quickly on the side, and everybody's going to slip in the mud, and they're going to be going too fast to try and catch you and react to that cut at the end, and you're just going to get some big yards out of it. But Mike Ory's not running that sweep right, and then Bobby Arrigo, he's not running the sweep right, and Donnie Lund's not running the sweep right. They just won't take it all the way. They're turning it up too soon, and they turn it right into the pursuit. They get tackled, and we're not getting the yardage we need. And I keep telling Twink, I go, can they fucking run that thing right? Can they go straight to the sidelines and turn it up and just listen to me and do what I'm telling them? And Pat goes, I'll fucking do what you want. I go, you know what? As a matter of fact, that's right, Pat. Tell Speedo to get out of there, run and get in there and run 28 sweep. So he goes in there, he goes, Speedo, get out, And he goes, we're running 28 sweep. And so that we run it, and Pat takes off to the sidelines. He is going hard, and everybody's pursuing him in the mud, trying to not lose their footing. He turns that thing up on the sidelines, and of course they all just fall down. And they're all falling in the mud, and he just runs through the mud down the sidelines for like a 65-yard touchdown. Never stops running. Runs from the far sideline all the way through the end zone, all the way back to me on about the 40-yard line. And then he throws the ball at me and goes, I told you I could fucking run the ball. So that's one of the many Duck stories. And that guy was just something else, man. So what else we got going with the St. Thomas More? Okay, so that year we get to this bowl game in Pittsburgh. We win our league. We lost a couple games, but we win our league. And I had determined that on Frankie Rayo, the kid that didn't have an arm, he had a prosthesis, but he didn't wear it. And so I would see him running at the practice and stuff, and he was always like lopsided, So I asked him, I go, Frank, do you have an arm, a fake arm you can put on? He goes, oh yeah, I got one, but it's got a big hook on it that might be dangerous. So I go, bring it to practice, let's check it out, and so let's see if you run better balanced with your prosthesis on, So, and of course, he's been wearing that prosthesis for a long time, and he's accustomed to it, and so he's much more balanced and comfortable. So I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put a couple pads over that hook, and you just play with it on, And he goes, well, I don't know, are we allowed to? And I go, his parents had letters that said he could play, and So yeah, let's do it, man. So that he actually became a really good player, and he was one tough defensive end. And so one day we kind of practice, and Bobby Shinsky quits. He's our punter. We didn't punt very often, but he's our punter, and so we got to get a punter. And so I go, is there anybody here that can punt? And Frank Rayo goes, I can punt. I go, I bet you can punt. I bet your legs are stronger than hell, compensating for the fact that you only got one arm. But how are you going to catch the snap? He goes, Coach, I can catch the snap. He goes, I play baseball. I go, okay, let's give it a shot. So I get down and I snap him some snaps hard, and he catches every one of them. Boom. He'd trap it on his chest with his good hand, put his fake hand out there like he's holding the ball, and extend it out, and that would be his bottom hand on the punt, and it kicked the hell out of that ball. I said, okay, man, you're the punter, Frank. We're going to rely on you. You can make or break the team because you can't catch that snap, but I believe you. I have full confidence that you can do this. And so, of course, we didn't punt for a couple games. And then we get to this bowl game against St. Simon and Jude. It's like the Catholic school championship of our area. And I used to tape all our guys up, because even though they didn't need it, because they didn't really get hurt, they're 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, but it made them feel like soldiers, So I'm busy taping some guys up and taping their ankles and spatting them and stuff, And I look out in the middle of the field, and the referees and Twink and the other coaches got Frankie Rayo out in the middle of the field, twisting his arm around and looking at his arm like he could use it as a weapon. I go running out there. I'm all pissed off. I go, what the fuck are you guys doing? They go, well, we think he might be able to use this as a weapon. I go, we got letters, Twink. You show him the letters that he's allowed to play. And I go, we've never coached him to use that as a weapon. We only did it as a balance thing for the kid that is trying to play football with one arm, So either Frank plays or we leave. We're out of here, And so St. Simon Jew guys, no, you got to play. And I said, okay. But when, I go to the sidelines, and I go, I need every extra pad we got, man. Frank, we are going to tape a ball of pads on the end of that fake hand, and now I'm going to teach you how to use it as a weapon. So I taught him. I said, okay, man, I just want you to stand up with your arm cocked, and as soon as they snap the ball, you earhole that kid on the other side with your club. He goes, really? I go, yeah. So he goes out there the first play, earholes this guy. They throw a 15-yard penalty on him, and unnecessary roughness. And I said, do it again, Frank. And he does it again. They throw another 15-yarder on it. And I call timeout. I said, okay, well, let's take that off, and we're just going to play football. I just wanted him to use it as a weapon a couple times to show you guys what kind of jerks you are. So the game goes on, and it's a battle. It is a battle. This team is good, and we're battling for field position, and nothing's going right. So we actually let's punt one time. And so Frank, he is so psyched up to punt in this super special Catholic school football game. He hits that thing about 70 yards and puts it down in the 2-yard line, and now St. Simon and Jew got to climb out of that hole, and they can't do it, and we win the game because we were able to get that field position from the punt and get a couple short yardage plays and actually get a touchdown to win the game.
6-0, go ahead.
And that's my Frankie Rayo story.
Are you having trouble with the credit card machines?
And that's a little overflow
Not that I'm
from
aware
my
of.
taxi cab radio.
Mine just froze, so.
So I get this great relationship with the Duck through St. Thomas
If you need me to run it for you, give me a number.
I have a chance to go to California after the 78 season, the next season, and I get to California and I'm going to stay. So I write Pat a letter I wanted to make sure that he knew that I still loved him even though I was in California, and that he needs to be on the straight and narrow and don't be causing trouble, and make sure that he's eligible to play football every year. And I know the kind of trouble Pat can get in. I want him to stay out of it. So I write him a letter, and next thing you know, I get this shoebox full of letters from his school. And the opening letter is from the priest who was in their class to give him a lecture. And so Pat got my letter that day. So
101?
he's reading the letter while the priest is talking. And so, of course, he goes, Mr. Dunn, what are you doing there? He goes, I'm reading this letter I got. And so he goes, let me see that. Let's read that letter out loud. And so part of the letter was, Pat, I want you to tell me how you're doing in school. So the priest goes, I think it's very good for all of us to write Coach Monk and tell him how Pat's doing. So I get 35 letters from these 6th graders who don't know me from Adam, and they're going to tell me how Pat's doing. And so they go, some of the letters are saying, well, we never really see Pat too often because he's always standing in the hall because he gets in trouble, or the girls would say, I don't know who you are, but I like Pat, but he's cute, and but he's always in trouble. So that's all the letters are always saying, oh, Pat's in trouble all the time. So it was just one of the greatest things I ever got was that box of letters. So that's probably going to end my St. Thomas More stories right now.